All right, kids, I told you that I would make a video on volume and how you can use it, what it potentially represents, in context with everything else that's in these candles. Now, in case you haven't seen my first video, which basically tells you what's inside these candles, I'm just going to real quick, go through what everything is here. This is the volume right here in the white. Okay, all these white numbers, 8,394, 13,890, so on and so forth. That's all the volume inside that one particular bar. Okay, the blue inside these bars is the point of control, and the point of control is the most important part of every candle. And all the point of control is where the most volume went off inside that bar. So it's paramount to my work. The second thing is these boxes here, right? Anything that's in like this positive 774, this negative 1237, this negative 530, so on and so forth. That is the COT, C-O-T, or commitment of traders. And that is basically a measure of pressure as to which side actually won out inside that candle. And then the numbers that are not in the box is 993, the negative 638, the negative 546, the positive 528. That is the delta. And the delta is the net of everything that went inside that candle. So a positive 993 means that everything that went on inside this, there were 993 more on the bullish side than there were on the bearish side. A negative 638 means that there were 638 more on the bearish side than there would be on the bullish side. And the reason that that is important is because we're looking for divergences. All right. So here we have the COT up here, and it's positive. And we have the delta, and that's negative. Well, that shouldn't be. Over here, we have a negative 289 on the COT, and we have a positive 489 on the delta. That ain't right either. Something's out of balance there, and it needs to rectify itself. And in the video, the previous video, I go over exactly what that means and how to utilize it. But there is a third element to that. When you get those divergences, you need to have this point of control, the blue, outside of the box. Okay, outside of the body of the candle. This is inside. This one right here, even though you didn't have a divergence, this point of control right here is outside the box. This one right here is outside the box. As a matter of fact, this was a sell signal right here. So was this, because it's outside the box. So that's a brief synopsis on what I covered in the first video. But what I'm going to cover here is volume. So this is the beginning of the day right here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, because I am a Michigan dude, and I'm on Eastern Standard Time. So we have 7,000, the volume on the first candle, 8,000, 4,000, 8,400, 13,890. Look at that. That's the biggest volume of the day. But really nothing going on. We don't have a divergence. Then we get 16,646. With a divergence, we have a positive 9 on the COT and a negative 154 on the delta. But the point of control is inside the candle. Moving on. I mean, look, you can read all these, right? The next one is right here. 19,859 with a large COT on the negative side and a large delta on the positive side. That is a sell, but we're inside the box with the point of control. I'll show you a little trick. I'm going to draw a couple of lines here. I'm going to draw this horizontal line on this 16,466 volume of the point of control. Then I draw another line on the point of control of the step higher volume of 19,859. Look at that. They are within one tick of each other. That is telling you something. And you know what that's telling you? That's telling you that this level is key. And because of that fact, you can be a little more aggressive. So let's take a look and see what happened after this divergence. Remember the divergence of negative 170 on the COT and positive 1,223 on the delta. That's a pretty darn big divergence. And we'll get into that at another time as far as calculating the disparity. Sometimes that can allow you to take a trade that's not necessarily with the point of control outside the box. But that's beyond the scope of this particular investigation. So, not to mention the fact that you had two sell signals right here, and we had a sell signal here, all in the general area. That's telling you something, and boom, down she goes. Because nobody wanted it, right? If they wanted it, they would have been buying it. Every time we came back up here, we got a divergence. Divergence, negative divergence, negative divergence, a negative divergence with big volume. And then boom, we got hit. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can use volume. Been a long day. It's a very early morning because I went fishing last night. And yes, I cleaned up. I did very well. But I'm a catch and release kind of guy now. Now that my grandson said I'm not allowed to keep him anymore. I guess there's one more here, which is negative, but the point of control is inside the box. So basically that's what I wanted to show you, is to keep an eye on the volume throughout the day and pay attention to those candles when you have the most volume going off on the day. You see these two little magenta lines right here? Magenta dotted lines? Okay, those are in reference to the two largest volume bars on the day. 68,643 with a divergence, and 65,852. No divergence, but point of control. They're right smack next to each other with huge volume. You know what this means? This means that this is the line in the sand right now at 29 to 28.75 that the bulls need to hold. We break down through there and a candle closes below there. It could be a see you later moment. So that's another way that you can use volume with the point of control. And when you see huge volume on two separate candles with the point of control relative in each one of those candles being very close together, you have a line in the sand. All right? And later on, what I'll do is I'll do a video which will discuss the disparity index between the COT and the delta. That will give you a probability of whether that trade is going to come to fruition or not. And it's a very useful tool. That's it. Let me know what you think. Later.